New South Wales have taken the state of origin for the first time in what seems like a million years. They are howling above the border, however, because of some contentious decisions. Now, William, was the Cordner penalty try a try?
Well, I was out in the game, obviously, and New South Wales fans thought it was a penalty try, of course. If that was in Queensland, it would have been a massive uproar. It's not a penalty try. It's origin. You know what I mean? It's sufficient to send him off for 10 minutes. It was a professional foul. There was no way that there was sufficient evidence enough to go, all right, Boyd Cordner is 100% going to score that try. Chambers was flying over. It would have been a 50-50 for the try. But there's no way you're saying that Cordner's going to beat an outside back to the ball. I can understand. I would be filthy if I was the Queenslanders because I think the call was wrong. So they go in, they're 12-10 up. You know, so I just think mentally... Yeah, Cordner did have a start, but I mean, you're dealing with outside backs. These guys get quicker and quicker. I'm not saying Cordner is slow as a back row, but like, I just don't think he would have got there before Chambers. And that desperation that you have in Origin, he would have been flying. He was flying. He would have put his whole body in front of Cordner to try and stop that, try and stop him from getting the ball down. So, man, I feel for Queensland. It was a big blow. But at the end of the day, I don't really care because we won.
If that try doesn't get given, does the momentum then shift? I mean, it was close to the end of the half.
Who was winning? So
Queensland
were winning, and it is a momentum shift, you know. So mentally, if you go in at half time, you know if you defend your ass off for 40 minutes, you're going to win the game essentially. But you know, they're going to come back, Queensland, which they did. New South Wales had to hold the fort. They defended really well. Then, you know, a couple of other things just started happening, you know. So it was a frustrating game if you were a Queenslander because I think they had the team and I think Billy was on fire at the start. Gagai, Holmes, GI, they had all their big guns firing. The forward pack was doing their job. I think Dylan Napper was really strong. And I'm like, well, okay, this might go to a decider. So thank God I get to go up there with a little bit of cockiness so we don't get absolutely slammed all the time. But, yeah, I just think it was disappointing that, you know, Queensland did get beat like that. When it comes down to refereeing again, it just wasn't raw talent from the New South Wales boys. I mean, I thought we were a better side, but just a couple of them little rules and the refs are at the coalface again with their shit decisions. This is Origin. Make the right decision.
New South Wales were the better side. I mean, for my way of seeing it, I think Queensland have every right to say that for the majority of that game they were playing better. They started better.
Yeah, at least 65 minutes, you reckon?
Yeah, but look, New South Wales scrambled bloody well, and that makes a huge difference. At the back end of the game, you look Cleary, that cover tackle where he just got hold of him.
Tedesco tackle.
Yeah, that's right. So it's that kind of desperation right at the end, which you usually see from the Queensland boys. And they, look, New South Wales showed that. But look, I also think in terms of that penalty try, look, I agree with you. I don't think it should have been a penalty try. But I still reckon it should have been a send-off or 7-10. Yeah. And that would have been interesting to see whether that late in the half, where they would have been able to use that advantage. But I still think it would have been a change to the game. But, yeah, it's a tough call when you've got a ball that's bouncing in the in-goal. So it's not just lying still on the ground, it's bouncing around. There's no guarantee if you still got to it first. Yeah, if you still got the first,
it wasn't going to go dead because it bounced up. So it did bounce up.
Yeah, no, true. It bounced up nicely, but you still got to catch the ball and put it down. I've seen plenty of blokes who've butchered that.
But what's disappointing is, like, not only the Soccer World Cup, we're now talking about a referee influencing the result. And, you know, we'll talk about it later about the Wallabies and obviously Irish Test and then the All Blacks and French in a different code. But we're now talking about, I guess, the referee is influencing the game. And Dane Gagai's try, you know, whether it was or it wasn't, there's footage that's come out today that suggests that it was a try. It's ruining the effort and the work that goes into the game. And what a spectacle. Like, it was one of the better Origin games, Willie, is that right?
Yeah, I reckon it was a great spectacle. I was out there and I seen the Gagai try and I thought, my first instinct was like, yeah, he's got this down. Because wingers are so good these days, they can just put the ball down from any angle. I was thinking, instinct first, try. Then they slowed it down. They tried all these different angles. And then today, like an actual photo come out and it was a try. It was the perfect angle and it just went,
But it's like once again that kind of stuff. You go the other way. Like there used to be howlers, which were like the referee would miss it, or they'd just be unsighted, and they had
This
to make a
one
call.
was if you look last night, it looked like he was out. So I thought they made the right call.
Yeah,
But then I look
likewise.
at today's. They didn't have them shots last night, which I don't understand. When you've got every single angle covered from the ground, then all of a sudden today we have the perfect angle.
But
Where the
suddenly,
fuck was that last night?
What about fake news? I mean, how do you know they haven't just cut off his leg out? Could be coming from Queensland. I mean, that's the thing. It's one of those things.
I like how you brought
Donald Trump.
news into it. That's
I
quite
know,
good. Yeah.
But I'm just saying, like, it's for me the Gagai try. Queensland were in front anyway, so whether or not that try is given, Queensland were dominating at that stage.
He scores. I think Queensland win.
You reckon it was more important than the penalty try?
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Because they would have put him in the lead, they would have defended it. I think New South Wales would have fought back really hard, but then losing Roberts in the last 10 minutes, it would have sealed it for him. I reckon they just would have lasted about 15, 20 minutes, and then they just would have defended that last 10 with Roberts getting sent off.
It's disappointing we're not talking about how good Billy Slater was. And we're now talking about a referee. Like, how good
And
was
it sucks. We're not talking about how good the game was either. We're talking about these idiot referees that can't get it right. That's what pisses me off every single week. It's like we should be just praising how good Origin is all the time. And we are, but the topics on everyone's shows and all this stuff is, was he offside? Was it a penalty try? Was it a drop ball? Was he in? Was Gagai in? Why was Ben Hunt so bad in the last 10 minutes? It's all negativity when the game is such a great game to watch and great spectacle. There's human error in it, but they just keep doing it. They're very consistent, the refs. I'll give them that at fucking up. They're so consistent. So
You talk about all the technology, and it's the same in a lot of sports now. They've brought all this technology in. But at the end of the day, it's still a human being who's controlling the technology. So you can't get human error out. So do we need all this other... Does the technology improve it?
Well, no, I don't think it does. I think it's like analysis paralysis, and then you're slowing it down, so it's so slow and frame by frame. And I don't think as a player you minded a bad decision, but or you don't mind an interpretation on the field. And Al was exposed to it more than I was, at the set piece of scrummaging, or Willie at the play the ball. But what's the ludicrous of it is that the referee is changing his mind in the middle of the game, and they're making interpretations based on what they think is a picture or something. And as a player, it's unfathomable to think about what they're seeing, because it's not really reality what they're seeing. It's not.
Right.
And then they justify it saying, my referee's coach has dressed me down and he's giving me feedback. And mate, I was trolled pretty badly when I played, but I was embarrassed to go into public the next day. Now, those referees walk off, think they've done a great job, and I'll go get my feedback, and that's okay. No, mate. Like, we're now talking about refereeing again. I feel like it's like Groundhog Day.
they should be accountable, and they should be able to sit at the media with everyone else and get absolutely grilled, like the captains do, like the coaches do, like everyone else does. They just blow the whistle, game, go get changed and piss off in their cars and go. No accountability whatsoever. They don't give a shit about what's in the papers. They might get dropped or something like that, but they never, ever front the media. I want them to front the media so they can explain to everybody why this decision was made, because I'd love to see that. But they don't. No one gets to see them. If they want to be, they're always in the headlines. They're always in the news. Everyone knows what they look like. They all think they're superstars in their own little right way.
Basically just saying throw the referees like the Lions, bang, throw them in front. They
Throw 'em in
would
front.
never have
I was about to say that there won't be any referees.
No refs.
They're hard enough to get a
well,
referee.
But we don't fair income. Like, coaches lose their jobs and careers over win or losses.
Yeah.
And players get dropped. So we haven't touched upon it yet, but Ben Hunt's form or criticism of his third tackle option, and players lose contracts and positions over that. When does it come a point where the referees are accountable, just like players and coaches?
Do referees get promoted and relegated?
They do.
I assume they
Yeah.
do. So I guess if they're chosen career, then it does hang
Is
in
it
the
a
balance.
career being a referee?
Yeah, they
Well, it is
asked me, they
now.
asked me to do it. And I was like,
to be a referee.
Yeah, and I was like, I'd probably rather
It's
be
full
unemployed.
time, Byrne, it's full time. They train harder than players. They're crazy.
Mate,
it's a
I used to
full-time
give
job,
him.
mate.
I used to give him so much grief, but I was just imagine if I was playing. Like, I used to cop it, but imagine being the referee.
Oh,
so not
the
only,
refs will
it'll be, man, even the
try,
teams
you'd hit
like
one.
it.
This would be the first referee to start a fight if he was
Yeah.
a referee. He'd literally he'd be the bloke in swinging.
He'd be punching
but
the
no,
bloke.
I think the referee. Look, for me, I think that video refereeing, to a certain extent, I think is good. I think the clanger or the one you can't see, like the one is where referee's totally unsighted and in the motion of scoring the try, did he get it down or not? Yeah, we can do that. But my issue at the moment is that the referee on the field is now doubting himself so much that they seem to go upstairs all the time, which is changing the game because also rugby league used to be where like the guys were stuffed at the end of the game because there's no breaks.
Yeah.
Whereas now it's become more like rugby union where the guys
You can get a break.
breaks the whole time because it's, you better check upstairs that and see it again.
And all you need in league is like about 30 seconds to a minute and you're nearly fully recovered, especially in Origin.
Well, we've just talked about the referees for the first however long in this show. Let's go to the game itself.
Yeah.
Now, from Queensland's perspective, James Roberts gets sent to the sin bin with 11 minutes to go, which means they've got an automatic
18-14.
How did they not clean that game up? How did they not put it to bed?
I don't know, because they were cleaning them up when it was 13-13 down that edge, and I'm not sure what happened, but they were trying to set it up too many times when they should have just pulled the trigger straight away. Like Ben Hunt was trying to set up another play, set a second, a third, a fourth. Everybody knows you're going to go on the fourth, you know, and then you'll push another number across so you can cover GI. So you're not even going to worry about the short side because you're not worried about Munster. You're not worried about Ben Hunt on that other side. You're worried about what's happening over there because GI is there and he's been carving you up all night.
Yeah.
Him and Gagai. And I'm just thinking they just waited and waited and waited, and it was really poor, dumb play, as JT said. JT plays that game, they put that to bed.
So whose responsibility is that then? Is that Hunt?
It's Ben Hunt, it's McCulloch, and it's Munster.
Yeah.
There's three people. Billy's going to do his job around the back. GI's going to hold his space. The back row is going to do their job. The forwards are going to get to their spot. The forwards will just listen to the 7 and the 9, and that's it. And when they pull the trigger, you just get in your position, and then that's it. And that's what they were doing in the first half, and they were just creating space when Billy was getting around the back because he played outstanding. And all they need to do was do that again. But they just kept waiting and waiting, and Ben Hunt's decisions were just awful.
Willie, do you think Cooper on the left edge wasn't as effective as Guerra and other guys they've had in previous years for Maroons? Like they obviously had Greg Inglis, taking on Roberts, but they didn't seem to have the penetration that they've previously had on that left side.
Cooper is he's just been JT's right-hand man. You know what I mean? Like he just runs lines off. I mean, Cooper's career was pretty much done before he went up there. And then he's playing outside the best number 7 in the last, 15 years, him and Joey arguably. Runs his line, does everything good, but he's not playing outside JT. JT knows when to pass it and what line he runs. Now he's playing outside Munster and Ben Hunt. He's not used to it. A couple of the mistakes that they made, the wrong line, he's not running the right line because JT squares up so much, he goes to the line, right to the line. That's why he cops so many hits. Ben Hunt doesn't go near the line.
Why is that?
Because you go near the line, you get smashed. JT, that's why these guys like JT, they're so tough because they'll go to the line to a bloke near me. You have to hit them, so you commit. And that's the difference between the Ben Hunt and the Munster and all these sort of young kids coming up. They don't go to the line like the Andrew Johns, Craig Gowers, Brett Camorleys, JT. They go right to the line. They get hit. So it's just
Munster will take the... Munster doesn't have the ball skills, though. I don't think...
Munster's just a footballer. I don't even know what position Munster is. He's just a footballer. Yeah. But I'm just saying, they just don't have that potency like they did, like, just say, 5 or 6 years ago where their left side back rower did his job. Billy was always around the back. GI was there. And then Darius Boyd. That was unstoppable.
Yeah.
But now, we were defending really well, but we had one short, and I'm like... They're going to score easy here, and it's going to be at least 18 all. Then we'll go, extra time or something like that. I thought something was going to happen, but Ben Hunt he was poor, and even guys like the greats of Queensland, JT would never say a bad word about anyone. He just said it was just dumb.
Interesting.
Wendell said,
he's a current player, and they've rolled him out to commentate, which that's terrific. Obviously, it's an income for him, but for him to have to commentate on blokes that he's played with or against, it's a difficult thing. For him to say that, he obviously felt pretty strongly about it.
Well, what he's done for that maroon jersey in the last, 10 or 12 years, like he'd die for that maroon jersey. And the things that he's done, and he knows exactly what position Ben Hunt was in. And so he knew what had to be done, and Ben Hunt didn't do it. Like, his kicks were awful. That third, it was just unforgivable. Third tackle, you kick it dead. 7 tackles. Like, do you know how much your middlemen hate you after that? You don't understand. Like, we don't even want... when it's JT, you can forgive it because like he rarely does it. But I'm thinking if you're a middleman and you see Ben Hunt do it because he hasn't got the respect of a JT, you don't want to work hard for him.
Well, that Ben Hunt's Matt Dunning moment, wasn't it? Really?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I mean, I think it's unfair on Matt Dunning, to be honest. I mean, you know, I suppose Willie, they're going to talk about his grand final performance at the back
Well,
end.
that's what they're bringing up now. It's like, oh, they bring up on this same ground. It's, you know, he dropped it on the ground. Who gives a shit about the grand final? It was nowhere near it. It was a kick. He had to catch. He dropped it. Who cares? Done. This was a kick that he has had to kick and just put it near the in goal or something. And why on the third tackle? Play the whole fucking set out.
Can the Dragons win the comp with him?
They can. I think he's a really good club player. But I mean, I think, you know, if you keep stuffing up at this level, you'll easily get your name crossed out, just like Cherry Evans has in the last couple of years. So, like, you know, if you can't deliver at this level, Queensland's unforgivable.
Well, they're going to pick Hunt then for the last game, you reckon? Is there any chance?
Well, they say they're going to pick Hunt, but I mean, like Queensland they'll play them little games. I think they should put, if Morgan's fit, just start Morgan. I mean, last year, like he was our halfback for the World Cup.
He's out for the season, big guy.
Hey,
He's out for the season.
is he?
They'll play Milford.
Is he out for the season?
Needle him up, he'll be
They
right.
could play Milford.
Just give him a needle. Come on, Morgan, you pussy. What are you doing?